Are your daily driving habits secretly killing your diesel engine? Most drivers don't realize that simple mistakes could mean the difference between hitting 500,000 miles or blowing the engine before 100,000. Chances are, you're already making a few of them, without even knowing it. Welcome to Car Care HQ. Today I'll expose 10 everyday habits that quietly destroy diesel engines. Some will shock you, and others will have you thinking, I do that all the time. Stick around. This could save you thousands in repairs. 1. Not changing your fuel filter. This is the #1 mistake diesel owners make, and it's completely avoidable. Your diesel fuel filter is one of the most important parts of your entire fuel system, but it's also one of the most ignored. Here's what your fuel filter does. It catches dirt, water, rust, and other junk before it reaches your expensive fuel injectors and high-pressure pump. Diesel fuel isn't as clean as you'd think. Even fuel from good gas stations can contain tiny particles and water contamination. Your filter is the only thing standing between that contamination and your engine. But here's the problem. Most diesel owners forget the fuel filter even exists until something goes wrong. They change their oil religiously, but completely ignore the fuel filter sitting there getting more and more clogged. When your fuel filter gets clogged, several bad things happen. First, your engine starts losing power because it can't get enough fuel. You'll notice your truck feels sluggish, especially when accelerating or going uphill. Second, your fuel pump has to work way harder to push fuel through that clogged filter, which can burn out the pump. And third, if the filter gets bad enough, it can actually start letting contaminated fuel through, which destroys your injectors. Replacing fuel injectors or a high-pressure fuel pump can cost thousands of dollars. A fuel filter? Usually between $20 and $50, and you can often change it yourself in under 30 minutes. So here's what you need to do. Change your diesel fuel filter every 10,000 to 15,000 miles, or once a year, whichever comes first. If you're driving in dusty conditions, towing heavy loads, or using fuel from questionable gas stations, change it even more often. Don't wait until you have problems. Make fuel filter changes part of your regular maintenance routine. It's cheap insurance against very expensive repairs. 2. Driving in the wrong gear, lugging the engine. This habit is absolutely deadly for diesel engines, yet most drivers don't even realize they're doing it. It's called lugging, and it happens when you try to accelerate or climb a hill while you're in too high of a gear. Picture this. You're driving along in top gear, cruising comfortably. Suddenly you come to a hill. Instead of downshifting to a lower gear, you just press the gas pedal harder and try to power through it in the same gear. The engine starts struggling, you can feel it laboring, the RPMs drop way down, but you keep your foot on the gas. This is lugging, and it's destroying your engine. When you lug a diesel engine, you're asking it to do heavy work at really low RPMs. Diesel engines need to be in the right gear and the right RPM range to produce power efficiently. When you force the engine to pull hard at low RPMs, several bad things happen. First, you're putting enormous stress on the pistons, connecting rods, and crankshaft. These parts are being forced to handle peak cylinder pressure without enough engine speed to smooth things out. It's like trying to lift something really heavy in slow motion. You're much more likely to hurt yourself. Second, lugging creates incomplete combustion. The fuel doesn't burn properly, which creates carbon buildup in your cylinders, on your valves, and in your exhaust system. Over time, this gunk causes performance problems and can damage emission systems. Third, lugging generates excessive heat in very specific spots in your engine. This heat can warp pistons, damage rings, and even crack cylinder heads in extreme cases. So what's the solution? Simple. Downshift when you need more power. If you're approaching a hill, drop down a gear or two before you start climbing. If you're trying to accelerate and the engine feels like it's struggling, downshift. Your engine should be running in a comfortable RPM range, usually somewhere between 1,500 and 3,000 revolutions per minute for most diesels during normal driving. If you're below that and trying to accelerate hard, you're in the wrong gear. Listen to your engine. If it sounds like it's straining or laboring, shift down. Your transmission has multiple gears for a reason. Use them. It might feel like you're over-revving the engine by downshifting, but you're actually protecting it by keeping it in its optimal power range. 3. Flooring it when the engine is cold. It's a cold morning. Your diesel has been sitting overnight. You start it up, and within a minute, you're heading to the highway. A few minutes later, you're mashing the gas pedal to merge into traffic. This is one of the worst things you can do to your diesel. When your engine is cold, the oil is thick like honey. It hasn't had time to flow through all the passages and coat all the moving parts properly. Critical components, your pistons, cylinder walls, and especially your turbocharger, are running with minimal protection. Diesel engines operate under extremely high compression, which creates tremendous stress and heat. When you add hard acceleration before the engine has warmed up, you're asking for trouble. Metal surfaces rub against each other without proper lubrication, parts heat up unevenly, and long-term damage accumulates. Your turbocharger takes the worst beating. Turbos spin at over 100,000 revolutions per minute. That's insanely fast. Running it hard before the oil has warmed up and thinned out properly can cut its lifespan in half. And turbo replacement? That's a $2,000 plus repair you definitely want to avoid. The fix is easy. Take it easy on the throttle for the first 5 to 10 minutes of driving. Let your engine warm up gradually as you drive gently. No hard acceleration, no high RPMs, no towing until everything reaches operating temperature. Think of it like stretching before exercise. You wouldn't sprint full speed the moment you wake up, right? Your engine needs the same consideration. Once it's warmed up, then you can use all that diesel power. This small change protects thousands of dollars worth of components. 4. Shutting off right after hard driving. After towing a heavy trailer, driving at highway speeds for hours, or pushing your diesel hard in any way, your turbocharger is extremely hot. We're talking hundreds of degrees. If you immediately shut off the engine when you arrive at your destination, you're setting yourself up for turbo failure. Here's what happens. When you kill the engine, oil stops flowing instantly, but the turbo is still blazing hot. That oil sitting inside the turbo starts cooking and turns into hard carbon deposits. This process is called coking, and over time, these deposits clog the oil passages, reduce cooling, and destroy the turbo bearings. Once your turbo fails, you're staring at a repair bill easily in the thousands. Not exactly fun. But here's the great news. This is incredibly easy to prevent. Just let your engine idle for 30 to 60 seconds after you've been driving hard. This keeps oil flowing through the turbo, allowing it to cool down gradually without cooking the oil. Some diesel vehicles have automatic turbo timers that handle this for you. But even if yours doesn't, just sitting in your driveway for 1 minute before shutting down makes all the difference. Think of it as a cool-down period after a hard workout. Your engine needs that transition time. It's such a simple habit that saves you from such expensive repairs. 5. Only making quick, short trips. This might surprise you, but constantly making short trips is terrible for diesel engines. You hop in your truck to drive 5 minutes to the store. You run the kids to school a mile away. You make a quick trip to the bank and come right back. These short drives feel totally harmless. But they're not. Diesel engines are designed to run hot, and they need real time to reach full operating temperature. When you only drive short distances, your engine never gets hot enough, and that creates a domino effect of problems. First, carbon starts building up in your exhaust system because the engine never gets hot enough to burn it off properly. This gunk restricts airflow and reduces performance. Second, your diesel particulate filter can't regenerate itself. It needs sustained heat to burn away the trapped soot and particles. Without that heat, the filter clogs up. But the worst issue is this. When your engine doesn't warm up fully, moisture and unburned fuel mix with your engine oil. This contaminated oil can't protect your engine properly, leading to accelerated wear on internal components. The fix? Combine your errands into one trip instead of multiple short ones. Take the scenic route home sometimes. Give your engine time to reach full operating temperature and let it do what it was designed to do. Your diesel will last much longer. 6. Waiting too long between oil changes. Your owner's manual might say you can go 10,000 or even 15,000 miles between oil changes. Your dealer probably says the same thing. So naturally, you think waiting that long is fine. But if you care about your diesel lasting, those intervals are way too long. Diesel engines work harder than gas engines. They run hotter, they're under more stress, and they deal with more contamination. Your oil isn't just lubricating parts. It's fighting soot, fuel dilution, moisture, and chemical byproducts from your emission systems. Even the best synthetic oil gets overwhelmed eventually. The real problem isn't what you see when you check the oil. It's the microscopic contamination you can't see, tiny metal particles, acid buildup, and fuel that's snuck into the oil. Here's what to do. Change your oil every 5,000 to 7,000 miles. Yes, more often than the manual says. Especially if you tow, make short trips, idle frequently, or drive in dusty conditions, this schedule keeps your engine clean and protected. Don't wait until your oil looks dirty. With diesels, that happens quickly and it's normal. Change it before the contamination builds up enough to cause damage. This habit alone can add years to your engine's life. 7. Using cheap or bad quality fuel. Not all diesel fuel is the same. Some gas stations sell clean, quality diesel. Others, not so much. Using poor quality or contaminated fuel is like eating junk food every day. It might work short term, but it's destroying things from the inside. Dirty fuel clogs your injectors, damages your high-pressure fuel pump, and fills your filters with sludge. Water contamination is especially dangerous because it causes rust throughout your fuel system and prevents proper combustion. And don't assume every gas station is selling good fuel. Some cut corners or have poorly maintained storage tanks that contaminate the diesel. How do you protect yourself? Buy diesel from busy, reputable stations. High turnover means fresher fuel. Consider using fuel additives that clean your system and prevent water issues. And if your truck has a water separator, drain it regularly. Your diesel engine depends on clean fuel to run properly. Don't cheap out on fuel quality. The few cents you save aren't worth the thousands you'll spend on repairs. 8. Letting your engine idle forever. Many diesel owners think idling is harmless. Trucks idle all the time, right? So it must be fine. Actually, long-term idling causes serious damage. When your diesel sits there idling for extended periods, fuel doesn't burn completely. This creates carbon buildup on your pistons and injectors, increasing wear and reducing performance. Idling also fills your particulate filter with soot way faster than normal, forcing more frequent cleanings or early replacement. But the biggest problem is fuel dilution. When your engine idles, especially when cold, fuel can seep past the piston rings and contaminate your oil. This thins the oil, making it less effective at protecting your engine. The rule is simple. If you're stopped for more than a few minutes, shut it off. Modern diesels handle frequent starts without problems. You'll save fuel and protect your engine from unnecessary damage. 9. Towing heavy loads without adjusting maintenance. Diesel trucks are built for towing. That's their superpower. But towing puts enormous stress on your engine, transmission, and cooling system. If you regularly tow without adjusting your maintenance schedule, you're shortening your engine's life significantly. When you tow, your engine runs hotter and works harder. Your transmission shifts constantly under load. Your cooling system works overtime. All of this accelerates wear on every component. Yet many diesel owners stick to the standard maintenance schedule even though they're towing thousands of pounds regularly. That's a big mistake. If you tow frequently, do maintenance more often. Change oil every 5,000 miles or less. Check transmission fluid and coolant more regularly. Inspect your air filter frequently because your engine is pulling in way more air under load. Also, use fluids rated for heavy-duty use. Don't try to save money with cheaper fluids when you're regularly pushing your truck to its limits. Towing is tough work. Adjust your maintenance to match, and your diesel will handle it without premature failure. 10. Ignoring warning signs. Your diesel engine communicates through sounds, smells, and behavior changes. If you ignore what it's telling you, small problems become catastrophic failures that cost thousands to fix. Unusual knocking or rattling could be failing injectors or wearing internal components. High-pitched squealing, maybe a worn belt or turbo issues. Excessive exhaust smoke, your fuel system isn't working right. Strange smells matter too. Sweet smell means coolant leak. Burnt smell indicates oil burning. Rotten egg smell suggests emission system failure. The biggest mistake is thinking, it still runs, so I'll deal with it later. But by the time later arrives, a cheap fix has become a major repair. Pay attention to your truck. If something sounds different, smells different, or feels different, don't ignore it. Have it checked sooner rather than later. Catching problems early is always cheaper than waiting for complete failure. Your diesel gives warning signs before major breakdowns. Listen to those warnings, and you'll avoid most expensive disasters. There you have it, 10 driving habits that ruin diesel engines. These aren't complicated things requiring special tools. They're simple, everyday habits anyone can change starting today. When you treat diesel engines right, they'll reward you with incredible reliability. Well-maintained diesels regularly hit 300,000, 400,000, even 500,000 miles or more. But neglected diesels can fail before 100,000 miles. The difference isn't the engine, it's how you treat it. Think about your own driving habits. Are you guilty of any of these? Comment which habit you're already used to. Most of us are doing several without realizing the damage. Now you know better, and you can make changes that add years to your diesel's life. If this helps you, hit that like button so other diesel owners find this before making expensive mistakes. Subscribe to Car Care HQ for more practical tips that make sense without needing to be a mechanic. Thanks for watching Car Care HQ. Treat your diesel right, and it'll take care of you for hundreds of thousands of miles. See you in the next video.